It is September 8th, the year 2021. This is a all-new edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. It's game week. It's finally here. We've been waiting oh so long. It seems like forever and ever, but it is here. And we've got a lot of stuff for you here on game week as we get prepared for Sunday's 425 matchup in Kansas City, where the forecast appears to be it's going to be 90 plus degrees, I'm hearing. So a hot one at Arrowhead. I want to introduce my very special guest next to me, the legendary sports talk personality Michael Reghi. Michael is calling games for ESPN college football and college basketball, and co-host now of the Reghi and Rhoda podcast, which you can find where all popular podcasts are available. So if you loved Reghi and Rhoda back on KNR back in the day, you can get it now. It's back in full effect. Michael, welcome to the show, sir.
Brad, always great to be with you. Anytime that I'm with Brad Ward and All Eyes on Cleveland, I know, man, that football's ready to roll. So you and I, for the last few years, have been doing this, and I always appreciate you having me back on your outstanding podcast. So good to see you.
It's fantastic to see you, and I can't think of any better way on game week to get together with you and get through all the nonsense and get right to the truth in the heart of it with you, Michael. So
you're too kind. You're too kind.
That's how we do it.
We talk the truth, no doubt about that. That's what I like about you. No question. I want the Browns to be successful. I'm an admirer of what they do, but I'm not going to homer it up. I've never done that in my life. You know that.
I do.
I think there's a big difference in being admirers of teams, coaches, GMs, players. That's one thing, but I'm never going to, start homering it up for them. I won't do that. If they're worthy of it, I'll tell you how great they are. But, again, I think there's that line there that I've never crossed. So, again, it's fun to be with you, and let's go, man. Let's rock with this 21 version of the Cleveland Browns, huh?
All right, so here we are on the actual This is Wednesday, so this is the eve of NFL football. Tomorrow night, Tampa Bay and the Cowboys. As we go back for a minute, because I haven't gotten a chance to speak to you about this stuff, let's talk about Browns breaking training camp. As they broke camp, you have any overarching thoughts about training camp and this offseason as a whole? Were you happy with how it went? Anything that jumped out to you as far as camp goes?
Well, I think you have to be pleased with it now, of course. And again, and the biggest thing is you and I talked about the tail end of last year. We knew, Brad, that Andrew Berry, as he did coming out of the 19th season, he went offensive intensive, right? Well, we knew that he was going to come out, and he knew that he and Kevin Stefanski were well aware. Shall we say I'll give them maybe an average minus at best for what they accomplished and didn't on the defensive side of the football last year, Brad. Average at best. We knew that that's the way I feel about it anyway. We knew we knew Andrew Berry was going to do a sweeping job, whether that be free agency, trades, and then in the April draft, of going about getting his defense fixed because needed to be, Brad, it's tough, man, as I tell everybody. You can say, well, yeah, the offense is fantastic. It is. It's one of the best offenses in the NFL. But, Brad, you and I know if you think you're going to win 38-35 every Sunday for 17 NFL, I don't care who you are. That's tough to do, man. That's tough to do. And quite frankly, that's in many, many situations how the Browns had to win football games last year. Yeah. Andrew Berry knows, I don't care how good your offense is, that's tough to be sustainable. So I applaud him for what he did. I love John Johnson III. I love Anthony Walker. I think it was an outstanding decision to bring in Jadeveon Clowney. You think the guy's not going to be he's in a contract year, basically, right? He's playing for another contract. you're going to get the best of Jadeveon Clowney. I
Yes.
applaud Andrew Berry for all of those moves. Now, Brad Ward, that doesn't mean that's on paper, though. That doesn't
Yep.
mean a damn thing until, as we like to say, the bullets start to fly in Kansas City. So we're going to find out, starting against maybe some would say, could we say, maybe the very best offense in all of the NFL.
Oh,
So,
I don't. Yeah, I
right?
don't think there's any question about that. I think they are the best offense in the NFL, and they did a great job. All the pieces they brought in to revamp this defense. But the thing about it, Michael, is basically because of the way camp was, all of the soft tissue injuries, which was not just the Browns, but league wide, hamstrings, 6, 7 at a time on rosters all over the league, right?
Yeah.
Guys on the bikes, just get to week 1 healthy was kind of the mantra, right? Like, let's just get to week 1 with as many guys healthy as we can. And because of that, they really didn't get a whole lot of time together. I mean, we got pieces, like we got a couple weeks with the defensive line at full health where they got to work together, and then you got pieces of the secondary working together, but not a defense together really hasn't happened yet, Michael. So they have to, it's going to take some time, expectations-wise, for this defense to gel. Maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks to really get to what they can do.
I agree with you, and that certainly is a distinct possibility, just as you laid it out. Now, again, if you want to get into, I'll tell you, I like the pieces that were brought in. As I just mentioned, I have concerns, though, about the interior of that D-line, Brad.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have to see about the linebacking unit, too.
Okay.
And now are you're gonna start Greg Newsome at the corner opposite Denzel Ward, by the way, which I applaud. I think that's the right thing to do. I applaud that. Greedy Williams, why I feel badly for the young man. The fact is he just hadn't been able to play football. Yeah. Because of the shoulder nerve situation. We haven't seen him enough in the lab. We haven't seen him to be able to feel good about it. And, I love Grant Delpit at LSU. Loved him. Thrilled that they took him. Now, we haven't seen him that much, though, unfortunately, and he's going to be ready to go, evidently, in this defense this week. So, yes, there's concerns on that side of the football, but I'll lead you into what you just said. I think you and I are in agreement. I love the fact that they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs right now, right away.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't want to steal your thunder there because I know you have that as one of our discussion points. So I'll stop right there.
Yeah, no, we're going to get to that very shortly, and why I think, and I think you, just as you just said, you agree, this is a perfectly timed meeting with the Kansas City Chiefs. But any surprises for you, Michael, as far as the cut down to 53? Anybody you thought that should have been on the 53 that didn't make it, or vice versa?
Well, I'll go the opposite direction. And again, I know I was a little bit surprised. And you know what? The funny thing is, he's got a chance to prove everybody wrong, and it's like getting another life. I was a little bit surprised that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, said, we're going to go with Malik McDowell.
Yeah.
And have him on the 53, Brad. I don't know where you're at on that. I welcome you to tell me your thoughts on it too. Not trying to reverse our roles here and play your show host job. That's kind of what I do as a play-by-play guy, so you'll have to excuse me on that. But listen, I called a couple. Malik McDowell at Michigan State. I called a couple of his games during his time there with the Spartans.
Incredible, right?
Talent.
Yeah.
Enormous talent. Everybody thought he had the chance to be a second, third, fourth round NFL draft pick. But, of course, Brad, the problem is his off the field. What's his character like? Is he going to be able to stay with your program? In other words, stay locked in between the ears and be the kind of guy off the field and that was his problem at Michigan State. Again, it's just the bottom line. I love the kid as a player, but, Is he going to be able to help you? Is he going to be able to stay engaged? Is he going to be able to stay the type of guy that you need day after day? Well, nobody knew that. So Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are saying, let's go. Let's give it a shot. So we're going to find out. So that surprised me a little bit. But I did not like that. You know that I did not like them letting Sheldon Richardson go. No. I don't like it. I think that Sheldon Richardson, again, still to me, he is in that upper half of the interior defensive tackles, if you will, or interior D linemen in the NFL. I was quite surprised, quite frankly, Brad, when they just released him, let him walk. All right. Okay, so now we're looking at what? Now we're looking at Jordan Elliott, right? And Tommy Togiai that made the football team. And so, again, to me, you got Andrew Billings. You got questions. I mentioned Jordan Elliott and, of course, Malik Jackson, right? Those are your interior defensive line players that are going to come in on this football team. So now here comes Malik Mcdowell. And listen, I'm rooting for the kid. I hope he's got an opportunity now, but he better take, these opportunities in the NFL for guys with questionable backgrounds don't come up often. Yeah. So, Malik McDowell's given this opportunity. Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski, Joe Woods believe in him. All right, Malik, let's go. Let's go. Let's show everybody, reward those guys, right? I just mentioned, for giving you this belief and giving you this opportunity.
Yeah. The interesting thing about McDowell is he's the first guy, Michael, that Andrew Berry has really taken a character chance on since he's been in this position. First guy that he's really kind of gone off the board character-wise to give somebody a chance like that. Can you see that okay, Michael?
It's fine.
Is that big enough? Okay, good.
No, you're good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so this is...
I put the cheaters on, buddy, but, that's cool.
I saw that, and I wanted to make sure we were okay.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Yeah, so, I mean, as I look at this, and we look at what we saw in camp and the preseason, and Andrew Billings was rather underwhelming. Jordan Elliott was underwhelming. Tommy Togiai was near non-existent.
Rookie, you're
right? But not much there from those guys. We didn't see much of Malik Jackson in the preseason. That's fine. He's a veteran. That's okay. All right. Malik McDowell and Jordan Elliott came on strong in the Atlanta preseason game. Mm-hmm. Now, Elliott had a weight issue, which you might be able to contribute some of his struggles into. He came into camp really light because he was doing a running workout that they had him doing all offseason. They came in, they said, Jordan, you're too light. We need you to put on like 25 pounds. Imagine trying to put on 25 pounds while you're working out in that heat every day all summer long. I mean, that's nearly impossible, right? So he had that battle with the weight all camp, which is why they were moving him around a little bit. But he really came on strong in that Atlanta game. He was disruptive. He looked good. Malik McDowell in the last two preseason games was exceptional. I mean, the push that he gets. I mean, the talent is there. This guy is a disruptor, can get to the quarterback, has a couple nice moves. You can move him around on the defensive line. He has all the tools, as you said, but you took the character chance on him.
You did.
But I have faith in it more because, as I said, it's the first character chance that Berry took. So he did his homework. You know that he did it, the due diligence on him. We actually had a guy on here from the Gridiron Showcase that they do for college kids every offseason. When they first put McDowell on the roster, they do a free agent day too for guys that are trying to make teams and stuff in the summer or whatever. And he had Malik McDowell at his free agent day, and I had spent some time with him, and he talked about how he thought he was turning around his life a little bit. So, it's good to hear. Definitely. I was surprised, and tell me what you think about this as far as surprises go. I was really surprised that Sheldon Day didn't make this roster. Of course, I get why. they have to keep Togiai on the roster as a third-round draft pick.
Yeah.
But certainly Sheldon Day outperformed Billings and Togiai, I believe, in that what would be that shade nose role.
Yeah, well, I think I think you're right about that. If you're looking at performance, so
So I was surprised
agree with
they got
you
him
there.
back on the practice squad. So he may contribute at some
Yeah,
point. But
yeah,
I was shocked at that. I
yeah.
was also shocked at Michael. They put Tony Fields on the roster. He practiced one day all summer. A little
That was
surprised
it.
at that.
Okay, yeah,
Draft
that's
pick.
legit.
Yeah.
That's legit in terms of not being able to show up because we'll just go back to the for whatever reason you're trying to make a football team in the NFL. For whatever it is, your best ability is availability. So when you aren't out there very often, that
Yeah.
sometimes counts as a surprise. I was a little surprised, and I know there was in that last week, JOK.
Yes.
JOK came up with what was it? Was it a hamstring or was it
He hurt his head in the locker room. He couldn't put on a helmet.
Well, yeah, I'm way wrong. That's right. That's right. He got the stitches in the weight room, right?
Yep. He
Yeah.
said trying to elevate or whatever. He interviewed the other day. He sounded good. The Browns put out their unofficial depth chart for this weekend. I took it and switched it around a little. I think that JOK is going to play more than Mac
I
Wilson
saw
will.
that. Now,
So
initially, didn't they? Wasn't their first depth chart had Mac Wilson ahead of JOK?
yeah, they have him there this week too. This is my change
Oh, this
because
is yours.
I just don't think I think they're just doing that out of for
Yeah.
whatever reason they want to do
Sure,
it.
I understand. I'm flipping that around. I'm with you. To me, if Owusu-Koramoah is ready to go, damn it, you got to have him on the football field.
Yeah, I think
There's
that.
no slight to Mac Wilson. I like Mac.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
Mac's a guy that contribute to your defense.
Yeah,
But again, no, you got to have JOK on the football field now. And
Yes.
of course, there's going to be some mistake. Of course,
Yep.
he is.
Yep.
I mean, again, but is he? To me, I think those mistakes will be limited. And I'm very impressed by this young man. I love that the Browns took him. I
Yeah.
was amazed that he was still there
Oh,
for the
incredible.
Browns to take. To be honest with you, Brad, amazed.
Incredible.
Yeah, and
So
I think he's going to be big time. And eventually, again, are there going to be some rookie short? Of course there are. Show me a player in this league that there haven't been. But I don't think for 1 minute, Brad, that you got to worry about him. Oh, we put him out there. He might kill us. He might just have a complete meltdown. I don't see that with this young man. I think he's too good. He's too efficient, and more so than that, he's too smart. He's got too
Yes.
much going on for him as a football player between the ears to have that happen. I think he picked up their system and what Joe Woods wants, and away we go. So I'm hoping he gets more snaps. And again, none against Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson's a solid football player, but JOK can be, and I believe will be special, Brad. Special.
Yeah, me too, Michael. And I think that I just think week one, he interviewed. They asked him about starting. He really said he said I hope so, but it's up to the coaches. But more significantly, I hope that I have a big, nice role and I can impact the game. And I think that they're going to give him that opportunity. I honestly think it'll be Andrew Walker and him mostly on the field. You're not going to see a lot of three linebackers from this group. I don't think on the field with the kind of back end talent they added with the Troy Hills and the John Johnsons and whatnot,
Right.
Ronnie Harrison. Obviously, that's your strong point, right? Your strength
No
of
doubt.
this defense.
Feel
for
real
sure.
good about those three you just mentioned. And
Yes.
again, I'm just hoping Grant Delpit can be healthy and join them and
Yes.
make this secondary whole.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. We were watching All Eyes on Cleveland. Special guest Michael Reghi with us here, preparing for game week against the Chiefs, week 1. We're going to do concerns here in a second, and we kind of hit on that a little bit, but we'll get into that a little bit more. As you mentioned, the interior defensive line, a little bit of linebacker, you said, and you mentioned corner a little, and I want to elaborate on corner a little bit with you, too. As far as depth goes, I also have some concerns at edge depth.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that. Delpit, OBJ, Greedy. Those are your 3 guys that are on the active roster. I did want to bring this up real quick because a lot of people have been talking about it on Twitter and whatnot, and I want to make sure that I thought this would be a good chance to clarify this for people, Michael. Beginning in the 2020 regular season, the active list limit was increased from 46 to 48 players on game day, as long as the team has 8 or more linemen active. So as long as you dress 8 or more offensive linemen, you can dress 48 now instead of 46.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's something that I think that's a really that the coaches, head coaches went after this hard, from what I understand, during this with the, how that, I don't know if it's, well, it wouldn't be a rules committee thing. I think it's just more about rosters and having availability. And coaches wanted more availability, and I think specifically with the offensive line compositions, Brad.
Yes, no doubt. There's no question. I mean, 50 going from 53 to 46, you having 7 guys that you put on your active 53 inactive is tough. Having 5 is tough, I think. I mean, realistically. All right, so what do you think? What are your expectations from? Let's start with Odell Beckham Jr. What are your expectations for him this weekend?
I think his reps are going to be, especially in that heat, as you said. Evidently, it's going to be 90 degrees plus on that turf at Arrowhead, which is no surprise. Wonderful Kansas City and wonderful America's heartland. I called a lot of baseball games in my day in Kansas City, right next door at Royal Stadium, and
we lost Michael for a moment there. That's okay. He'll be back with us. You're watching All Eyes on Cleveland. This is a special edition, game week with Michael Reghi is our special guest. And we lost him, but that's all right. We'll get him right back on the air momentarily. We were taking a look. We'll go ahead and bring it up here at the 53, my adjusted 53, and we were talking about Odell Beckham Jr.'s role this week. I feel strongly that Odell Beckham has been 100% for some time, and they have just been playing it ultra careful with him as far as his reps, not getting team drills and whatnot. So I think that there's no question that I think he sees pretty much a normal role this weekend. I really don't think. I mean, they'll run him in and out, give him sufficient rest, but I certainly think he will be a big part of the offense. Now, as far as Greedy Williams goes, he's not going to start, I don't think. He is, we know he's not going to start. It's going to be Greg Newsome, and that's well-deserved. And if Greg does a good job, you'll have Troy Hill at the nickel. Sorry, I'm trying to coordinate with Michael here to see if we can get him back on. Just hop back on. Live shows. Gotta love it. So Greedy, I think, will see limited snaps. He'll get on the field, I'm sure. and contribute, but I don't know how much he's really going to contribute. I think it'll be a limited, maybe 15 to 20 snaps or something like that is kind of what I had in my head. And I would not be shocked. And a lot of people are I've heard people on talk shows this week talking about Delpit. Is he ready to play? All those things. Is he really going to contribute? I would not be surprised if he is not one of the 5 guys. Sorry, Michael. Just click on the link. Again. Sorry, folks. Trying to get Michael back on. I would not be surprised if Grant Delpit does not dress. I just don't know how you can roll him out there expecting him to jump right in and contribute. He's missed he has like maybe 8 reps in team drills this offseason. So I would not be surprised if Delpit is a game day scratch or a game day one of those 5 players on the 53 that isn't actually active. That would not be shocking to me. So we'll look at that here. Let's see if we can get Michael back on. We're going to go to a short break, and I'm going to try to get Michael back on so we can talk more about this. And we'll be right back in just a moment. And we are back here on All Eyes on Cleveland, trying to work out some technical difficulties with Michael Reghi, trying to get him back on the show here. And hopefully we can do that here momentarily. We were rolling along just fine. Oh, it looks like we have him back. Looks like we have him back. Michael, are you with me, sir?
Yeah, Brad. I don't know what happened in the podcatosphere there, but
hey,
I hope it's not too disconcerting and it's all good for you.
It is all good, and there's no worries. I just, I'm very good at just blabbering on about nonsense to kill the time. Don't worry.
That's why you're an outstanding host. You gotta do that sometimes.
Yeah, so we're all good, sir. Thank you for finding your way back on. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties on coming back in there, but we'll leave right where we left off. We were talking OBJ,
yeah,
and I kind of gave my thoughts while you were gone, and my thoughts were, I expect him to have a nice carved out role. I feel like he's been at 100%, cutting hard on that leg for over a month plus, Michael. But they've just been really careful with him. I think we'll continue to see them be very careful with him. But week one, they'll give him breaks here and there. They're going to obviously want to use Peoples-Jones in that role a little. I think he had such a great camp and everything, but I still expect him to be a big part of the offense come Sunday.
Well, yeah, I do too. You were asking about. I'm just not sure how many reps, how many snaps he's going to get as what wouldn't be his normal. I
Considered
think,
normal, yeah.
Yeah, I think let's just say going on 60 to 65 snaps a game in that vicinity offensively, right? Well, normally I think OBJ is probably going to get 50 to 55, one would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be that extensive on Sunday. I think game situation and how he feels and what he tells during the course of the game, Brad, Alex Van Pelt, and then, consequently Kevin Stefanski, maybe it might be on if OBJ tells him, hey, play me all the reps, and maybe they will. And who knows? Yeah. But I think his say-so is going to be a large part of how much we see him on Sunday.
Agreed. Let's transition to Greedy Williams here. Okay, so obviously Greg Newsome's going to get the start. I think he's earned that in camp. I think he's looked good. I feel pretty good about him going out there. Him, Denzel, and Troy as your three guys and a nickel out there on the field. With those three guys and Greedy probably being the fourth cornerback. How many snaps do we really expect him to get in this game? Maybe I said 15 to 20, maybe was my guess.
Limited. I'll just say limited. You may be right in that actual numbers area, but I think you're going to see Greg Newsome occupying most of those snaps at the corner on the defensive side of the ball. I'm really, I'm excited about having Troy Hill on this football team too, Brad. And I would just say to Browns fans, you look at, he's a slot corner. So yeah, okay. Well, that was his designation mostly with the LA Rams, but don't be surprised if he gets snaps and reps outside the numbers too.
Absolutely.
As a field corner. Just tuck that away, everybody, and don't be surprised, because I think that's a huge possibility.
Yeah, he was very good outside corner for the Rams until they got Jalen Ramsey, and that pushed him inside, and he just happened to excel even more in there. So he has the ability to do both, definitely. Love his toughness, love his grit. That Youngstown grit, right?
There you go.
Yeah, coming home, and I love it. Yeah, so he is. He's great. He came on the show. He was on the show.
I saw that. That was great. That was great to have him on.
Yeah, a little clip
They're
here.
all eyes on Cleveland. We here,
There's Troy for you. But so we then finally Grant Delpit, right? So I actually said, when we were having technical difficulties, that I would not be surprised, Michael, if Delpit isn't one of those five that doesn't dress on Sunday.
That does not dress.
Yeah.
Does not?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I'll go with you there. I believe they'll be cautious with him too. So I think you're probably correct in that, Brad, that maybe he doesn't get on the 48 as we were just talking about. So
yeah,
and if that happens, Browns fans don't get too crazed, or don't get in another top draft pick that gets hurt and never helps the football team. They're again, now they're in a position. Same thing. If they're and not that this is the case, but it goes under the same category that we were just discussing on the other side of the ball with Odell Beckham. If they thought that there was any possibility that by playing on Sunday, and a potential injury that you don't like to think about was going to set him back long term, he wouldn't play.
Right.
They're in that they don't have to do that now because their roster dictates they can go otherwise and err on the side of caution, if you will.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to if medically and with the team doctors and with the team, training personnel, if they believe if they go to he's good to go. Well, then he'll, I think they'll have him on the football field for an adequate amount of reps. If not, he won't be. It's that simple.
Okay. Very good. Well, I hope to see him. I really do. I would love to see him out there.
I mean, the young man can play.
Yes.
Like I said, I loved him at LSU and was so pleased when the Browns drafted him, Brad. And we want to be able to see him. Sure.
All right, you're watching All Eyes on Cleveland. We got Michael Reghi back in full effect here on our Week 1 Game Week edition here on All Eyes on Cleveland. Let's talk concerns a little bit, and then we'll get into why we like it in Week 1. Okay.
Yep.
Concerns. You mentioned interior defensive line. Just really, and you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, and I agree with you. That is definitely one of my concerns because nobody really jumped out at the beginning and took that role. Billings has looked underwhelming after an opt-out. We didn't see a ton of Malik Jackson, but I feel better now that Malik McDowell and Jordan Elliott had such good games in preseason Game 3. Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, that that certainly makes you feel better. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, you're told guys who were in Elliott's case a draft pick, and in McDowell's case, a guy who's really getting an opportunity from Andrew Berry. So, I believe they both can play, and I believe they both will show that they have NFL credentials and skills to play. So, let's hope that's the case. I think that I don't know. I'm not so sure that that both Jadeveon Clowney and Tack McKinley, and hell, I'll throw Miles into that too. You might see them here and there. I'm not saying it's going to be a large thing, but you're going to see them, I think, on the interior occasionally, Brad. All of them, because they're going to mix and match. And it'll say, well, Myles Garrett's not playing on the edge on this snap. He's more in A gaps. He's more in outside offensive guards. I think that could happen with all of them. Again, I'm not saying as a regular occurrence, but here and there. And I think that's the beauty of the capabilities of what the Browns D-line hopefully can do. Again, right now it's I'd have to say it's a question mark, I think, for all of us in terms of how. But we're going to see starting Sunday again if these guys, as I just alluded to, Brett, are multi-skilled, multi-dimensional enough that on certain times and in certain parts of a football game, given what the other team's personnel dictates, that you can do that. And
no question.
And have it be positive for you.
No question. Yeah, definitely. You think about Clowney's ability to move in and out.
Right.
Miles too, as you said, and then bring Tack in. Off the edge. You talk about third and long. Pass situations. That seems ideal, right? To kind of put that package in there. So I'm sure we'll see some of that. You mentioned linebackers as a concern for you.
Yeah.
Any point of more focused concern there, or just depth, or what was your major concerns?
I don't know. I mean, how much is Taki going to get?
Not much.
I don't know. I'll admit to you, I'm not really high on him. And again, now you say, well, making the 53, and is he up on 40 in the 48 on game day? Well, hey, they're going to starting Sunday. We're going to find out, right? How Joe Woods and Kevin Stefanski feel about that, and that'll answer our question: is he going to be up? And I think that's the case for him. You alluded to it earlier, Brad. You're right. I mean, there's 5 guys that aren't going to be up every Sunday, right? That are on the 53, and I think one of them at least to start the year out. One of them is going to come from that D line, and another one's going to come from the linebacker position.
Yes, yeah.
I think so. Again, I want linebacker wise. Like I said, I don't know what you're going to get out of Taki. Malcolm Smith and Anthony Walker, right? The veterans are some of the younger guys going to push them as the season begins and as it goes along. We'll see. I think that's the Browns' hope, quite honestly. Hey, listen, look, Anthony Walker, I like him. I don't think you can't say just, on the surface, is he an upgrade? Yeah, he's an upgrade off what they had there. So, again, I think you're going to see a lot of what's expected of Anthony Walker is, look, right? Hey, solidify this thing. Make this thing where it's a position of, I don't know if strength's the right word, but make it where you solidify the position, bringing that steady veteran experience that you have and steady the position.
Absolutely. Yeah, his experience is huge there. I think Taki is... I think he zoned into that Sam role, strong side, linebacker. I think he'll dress and play there in their base, but they're not going to be in base very often. They're going to be in base maybe to start the game and that's about it, or start the half and that's about it. So I don't see a lot of reps for him, but I think that's a role he plays. I think Malcolm Smith will have a role on passing downs potentially, depending on what they go to. I don't think they're ready to deploy that dime 3 safety look that Joe Woods talked about so much. But they just haven't had haven't had enough time to put it in yet. You know what I mean?
You're right.
They need Delpit healthy to do that, and so maybe they did it this week, and maybe we'll see it more than I think. But that's just kind of. That takes another linebacker off the field potentially. You're looking at a lot of Walker and JOK, in my opinion. Go ahead.
There you go. Well, Brad, what do you think I felt badly. Jacob Phillips, right? I mean,
that's brutal.
Now that injury, because I like Phillips now. I think he was starting to, and he was going to show that he is a plus NFL linebacker as his career goes on. I like him.
Me too.
Feel badly, and I don't know. I think that again now you're going to have people mixing and matching and guys that are going to step in because I think there was Phillips was going to play a definite role for this football team.
No question.
Yeah,
no question.
I mean that's going to we're going to have to look at that closely to see where they go and how they go without him in the picture now, and maybe for the entire year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it forces Mac Wilson into a bigger role than maybe they wanted to give him initially.
I agree with that, yes.
All right. My other concerns, are edge depth and corner depth. And here's why. Both positions have wildly injury-prone players on the front line. So Greg Newsome, injury-prone in college. Greedy Williams, injury-prone in the pros. Denzel Ward, major injury-prone. Troy Hill, not so much. But with those guys' injuries, I thought, here's what I thought, Michael. I thought they could do better than MJ Stewart as your sixth corner. Because as much as we want to talk about that not really mattering, it does. Look at last year. I mean, how often did we had Tavier Thomas playing in the slot.
Right.
And MJ Stewart playing on the outside at times. I like AJ Green's development into that fifth cornerback role. That's fine. I'm good with him there. But I just feel like they could have upgraded or added some depth at corner there in case you lose Newsome and Ward and Greedy for a bit. You're not down to having to depend on guys to play out of position and having AJ Green and MJ Stewart again on the outside trying to defend guys. That's just not going to work in the NFL.
You're right.
And
that's
so,
very true.
Yeah,
And,
I worry about depth there.
And rightfully so. And Brad makes an excellent point because every spot on that 48 man or 53 man, I mean, every spot is valuable, and you have to have that every one of those ready to give you the best at that position that you could put out there. And I'm not going to go crazy on this because I know on your podcast I'm a big one. I love Denzel Ward.
Yes.
But Denzel, you got to give me 15 games this year, man. That's the number I'm putting it at, Brad. I need 15, not 10, 11, or 12. 15. And I know people could say, well, you can't help it. Well, you know what? Listen, if you're being paid as the number one corner, right, which he is, and nobody's questioning his talent level or ability, but, again, Denzel, the missing 4, 5, 6 games a year just ain't going to cut it, man. You got to stay out there and be that number one corner.
Especially,
because it really affects this football team without him.
Especially going into this contract, that he wants this offseason. I mean, right. He's going to want $18 to $20 million and be paid like a number one corner in the NFL. As you said it before, I think you said it on the show. In order to do that, he has to play 14, 15 games for me to feel okay.
A must. 10, 11, 12 ain't going to cut it anymore.
No.
And
I agree.
again, nobody's criticizing his capabilities or skills to play that most demanding position. But if you're not on the football field, then, if you're missing 4, 5, 6 games a year, which he has done, I'll just say this again. I love the kid. He's a Cleveland young man. Love him. We know he's capable. He's skilled as could be. You love saying, "Hey, we got Denzel Ward as our number one corner." But Brad, I'm telling you, if it's me, he wouldn't like me. Is it because if it's me, Denzel, I can't pay you that, son.
Right?
I cannot pay you that until you show me. That's my number, Brad. I don't know, 15.
Yeah.
15. They're playing 17 now. Okay. 14 at the bottom line outside.
Yes.
But unless you can do that for me, Denzel, I can't pay you top money as one of the top cover corners in the league. I know that's who you are.
Yes.
But if you're not out there doing that for me 4, 5, 6 games a year, I can't pay you that money. It's that simple.
100% agree, Michael. You're preaching to the choir there. I could not agree more. Love him. Love Denzel Ward. Obviously, we share a last name for come on.
You do.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you do. Sure, you do.
All right. All right. Let's talk about this. I've heard a lot of discussion about this. Michael. Oh, the schedule makers in the NFL did the Browns no favors, giving them Kansas City in Week 1. All right. I totally disagree, and I have about 10 reasons why here. I'll start with my first one, okay? I think that the Browns schedule makers, or the NFL schedule makers, whoever made the Browns schedule, did them a huge favor in doing two things, Michael. Number one, they put Kansas City in Week 1, and number 2, they put Baltimore back-to-back with a bye in between. You take 3 of your hardest games on your schedule and pluck them out of the week-in, week-out process. Week 1 is kind of an outlier. You have multiple weeks to prepare for it. Baltimore, who you normally would have to prepare for twice, and they're different than any other team in the league to get ready for, you only have to prepare for once with a bye in between, and they go to Pittsburgh while you're sitting at home watching film, right, on that bye week. I mean, if you take those 3 games and sprinkle them throughout the schedule, how much harder does the schedule look, right?
Yeah.
But if you take them as 3 outliers, it really lightens the load for the Browns.
Well, how about we start with the first? And I thought, by the way, that aren't we always told the best shows like this are supposed to be one where the people on it disagree all the time? I'm sorry, man. You and I are right there in lockstep with this because, listen, Does anybody think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be a 500 football team?
No.
Or even, I think you said, well, what's the Kansas City Chiefs win total? Oh, I don't know. 12 probably minimum.
12, 13.
Maybe 13, 14. Hell, could be 15, right?
Yep.
Okay, I know this, that the Kansas City Chiefs on week 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you know what? They might be the best overall team in the NFL, and I guarantee you they're better in the second half of the season than they are right now. I'll guarantee you that. So
no question.
Hell yeah, this is when you want to play them if you're the Cleveland Browns. I'll take my chances right now going into Arrowhead than in November or December. Why would you want any part of that when this football team is probably really rolling and showing everybody why they're, I'll say, certainly to me, a top 5 team in the NFL. They might be the best team in the NFL. Now, a little surprised with what they did on their offensive line. So we're going to have, they just revamped the whole damn thing.
Yes.
In essence. So we're going to see. But you know what? I want to find out if they're not quite ready to go yet on that offensive line, and if it's not cohesive, and they have not blended together as of yet, like we know their offensive line has been in years past, then I want find out right now. Play them right now when they still have maybe questions themselves about what they're going to do. And again, just the general premise, you give me all the top teams in the NFL, and you knew they're going to be on your schedule, right? We knew that. They're going to play Kansas City again. Great. Got week 1. That's fine. Because, again, let's just say if it is a loss on Sunday in Arrowhead. Okay, that's fine. You lost to one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, and you just roll it and move on. I hope to hell we see them in January, right? And there's a good chance that could happen again. Now, the thing you have to do, though, in January, fingers crossed, Brad, let's hope that if you see them in January, Browns, you got to make sure it's at First Energy. I'd say that for anybody. The Browns need a home game, man. The Browns, to me, that's a big thing. You got to win the division, and you got to want to be able to play at home. Again, if the whole way through the playoffs, play at home. To me, that's what I'm looking for the Browns to do. I know that's not easy. That means you got to have the best record in one of the 2 top records in the AFC. Fine. Well, hey, good. They should be expected. That's the next step.
Yep.
Right? They made the playoffs last year and got to the AFC title game. What's the next step? Win that and go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I don't know. Let me ask you. I'm not trying to, doom and gloom. But to me, quite frankly, unless there's, huge injury situations that gut the team, well, to me, what are we playing for then? Don't you?
No.
Aren't they what's the next step? Win the AFC and go play for an NFL championship.
100%.
What else should there be?
There shouldn't be anything else. Win the AFC North, get to the AFC title game, win, and go play in that Super Bowl. Yes.
Well, again, if they just say everything's level right now and all the key ingredients are there, I can't imagine. Browns fans, if it is the Browns at Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and the Browns lose again with with everybody that are key cogs on the football field and playing, well, how can you say they improved from what they did in 2020?
Right.
I would say, again, I don't want to make it, but that's a regression to me. You've got to get the AFC Championship game and win it this year.
Yeah. No, you're right. You got to make the next step. And the NFL is so fickle that way. Each season is its own entity. It's hard. Right. It's hard to build on momentum. Like, people talk about momentum from season to season. The NFL is really not a thing. Each season is its own entity. So while you have the continuity they have on the offense, you got to take advantage of it right now.
I couldn't agree with you more. You cannot say, well, hey, Yeah, that's cool. Hope they do it in 21, but man, in 23, they're you don't know that.
You have no idea.
That's a pipe dream. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have great respect for all of you. Believe me. But if you think that or say that, please, it's ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
It's absurd. Don't be you in the NFL, Brad. You just said it perfectly. More so than any of the other major team sports. It's right now, this year. You aren't guaranteed. You can't even begin to tell me what the Browns are going to be, or any team is going to be in 2022 at this time 1 year from now.
No
That's
question.
a pipe dream. Well, the better teams, they'll still be good. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But,
Yeah.
you got to take advantage of this now. This is one of the top rosters in the National Football League. They've got every ingredient that they need to be successful and win. And now they got to go do that.
I agree.
Got to go do that, because I'm sure as hell not thinking about 22 or 23 or 24, because like I just said, it's ridiculous to do that in the NFL.
Yeah, you can't do that in the NFL. And the other factor and one of the major reasons you can't is as soon as the quarterback contract hits, your roster is going to change tremendously. You're going to have to play young players often, guys on rookie deals more. You're not going to have this luxury of going out each offseason and plucking your John Johnsons and Clownies of the world. That's going to change a little bit, Michael.
No, you're touche. As I said, you're absolutely right. Again, we haven't even brought that up. So again, you want next year. Well, before this time next year, you're going to have to, the Browns are going to have to make that big determination on quarterback money. Correct?
Yep.
So,
yep.
And you just said it. I don't need to elaborate it on it. You said it beautifully. That changes everything, and you want it to be for the positive. And it means your football team not only is relevant, but is one of the best in the NFL. And you probably got the guy at the most important position in all of pro sports.
Yep.
But until you pay him, and if you you pay him, great. It changes everything else about your roster.
Yep, absolutely. The counterpoint that people make to this argument, Michael, is, the Browns defense has had no time to gel yet. Here's my response to that. Good. Okay? Good. If they go out, you said it. If they go out and lose in week 1, you lost a game that you were supposed to probably lose on the schedule, right? You're underdogs. You lost a game to maybe one of the best teams in the NFL. The next time you play them, when you play them again, you will be a completely different football team. Because you play them week 1, that defense is going to be completely different in the playoffs. So there will be no resemblance of what they saw in week 1 when you play them again. And that's a good thing. You don't want to play them in week 12, get a look at this defense, and then play them again in the playoffs. Yeah. You want them to have no experience against this defense at its top highest potential.
Again, you're on it, and that's exactly right. Because you're correct. This team, especially defensively, we're discussing the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be a quantum leap from where they are on Sunday, September the 14th, this coming Sunday, and what's going to be in January of 2022 when the playoffs begin. And
absolutely,
I'm going to say, because of the personnel that they have, I think you're going to see the Browns incrementally improve on the defensive side of the football, because they've made so many changes this year. And again, that's not to say that every one of them is going to go just swimmingly great. Brad and I, we just said we have some concerns in a certain few areas of them, but I am confident, as we said. I think there's enough personnel there, Brad, that they can do different things schematically and philosophically if they need to, that can put people in the optimum positions along that defense. And it might not be, as we said, about specifically the down front 4, 3, whatever it's going to be, and the linebacking positions. That might look drastically different come November, December than it does now. And it might be for the better. But, that's what we have to see play out.
Yeah, and just as a football team as a whole, I mean, it takes an entire season for a football team to be weathered and where they playing their best football. If the Browns are playing their best football in January, I like their chances against the Chiefs. Week 1, maybe not so much. Let's go on to that topic. What has to happen for the Browns to win this Sunday, Michael?
Well, I think they're going to have, as we said, Brad, they're going to have to win, to me, a high-scoring game. I can't see a 20-17 game. I'm about double that, quite frankly, because defensively, I think there are going to be, in both of these football teams, and as I mentioned a moment ago, about the Chiefs and their completely restructured offensive line. Yet I still think, because these are the two best offensive football teams in the National Football League from the skill positions in terms of, and we've seen how capable they are of putting up to 35 to 45 points a game. Brad, I'm looking for a game certainly in the 30s. It wouldn't surprise me if one of the two teams hit that coveted 40-point mark either. I think it's going to be an offensive game. As you say, it's going to be hot. It's going to be 90 degrees plus on that playing surface, and I definitely see a football game in the 30s that maybe that Baker Mayfield and that Browns offense are going to have to be, extremely on point and extremely fourth quarter strong to win it.
I agree. Maybe it's going to take, for me, it's going to take a big turnover late or something like that to get them a win in this. I just think, we know Andy Reid will have them ready. We know their offense is going to be firing. They have a point. I mean, it's not like they're playing for nothing. They want to come out and prove a point in this game too. Everybody does. It's week 1.
Yeah. And look at the last time they were on the football field. What happened is, everybody said, no, that can't happen to Kansas City. They got completely shut down and completely taken off their phenomenal offensive game, right?
What they do.
I mean, it is. To me, they're the best offense in the National Football League. I stand by that. And completely taken out of and away from and off everything that they do and usually do just readily, Brad. I mean, do as they want, right, week in and week out. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And completely shut them down. You think that doesn't sit in their craw big time? And you going into week 1? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they're gonna come out swinging. They want to show out in week 1 just as badly as the Browns do, and so I think it takes a couple turnovers or individuals maybe on that defense making a spectacular play here or there for them to get in a position to win that game. I agree, high scoring affair. Let's wrap things up with looking around the AFC North real quick. Thoughts on who's second best in the AFC North for you? Is it the Ravens? And then
Baltimore, for sure. I got questions about the composition of Pittsburgh's roster right now, and of course a lot of people say, well, Ben is done. I don't feel that way. I don't feel Ben's done. I think that Ben is still just fine and quality enough if everybody around him is continuing to excel. They'll be fine offensively. I think Najee Harris is going to be big time as their, every down running back. So, I still think they're a formidable football team. This stuff about I got to see I've heard people say the Steelers 7-10, 8-9. Okay, I got to see that. I'll raise my hand come January. You can remind me when we talk again if that's what they are. I'm sorry. I still think they're a 10, 11 win football team.
Okay.
Now, are the Browns better than them? Yeah, I think so. The one that it's Baltimore. It's Baltimore. Again, I still think Brad, to me, I'm that I got to see it, prove it guy. Maybe that means I'm old when it comes to sports.
No.
But you talk all
you're right.
but the Browns. In fact, I'm going to say something, and I don't know, and I don't mean that if they don't, it's not going to be a successful. I want to see the Browns beat the Baltimore Ravens twice. I want to see them beat them both times this year. And and you're going to say, well, right, guy, that doesn't mean if they don't, if they go 1-1 against them, okay, yeah, sure, sure, and 1-1, but you better not be 0-2 against Baltimore Browns. I'm telling you, because if you're 0-2 against Baltimore, I got a feeling this 21 season isn't going to go as successfully as we all hope.
There's no question that 3-week period, that little schedule quirk there, it is going to decide really who wins the AFC North, in my opinion. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, and again, sure. I mean, again, I know maybe. I just want, because to me, you can't keep having these blowouts at Baltimore.
Right.
I agree. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I agree.
It's to the point now where I think it's almost again, it's for the psychological well-being of a football team that wants to announce themselves, Cleveland Browns, as we're one of the best in the NFL. Well, then you can't go, into Crab City, Charm City, and keep getting blown out by the Ravens. I mean, you got to find a way to rectify that. So I'd love to see them go 2-0 against Baltimore this year. That would be, to me, that would show that not only are they talent-wise, but this football team is starting to get it now that they want to be the team that is looked upon as the best in the AFC North.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is the year they can do it, Michael, because not only are the Browns talented enough, and when they play them, they have that little advantage with the bye in between, and when they play them, it's later in the season, so they will have developed that defense somewhat. But I also look at the Ravens roster, and I see some holes that weren't there in the past. So, that front seven is not as imposing as it has been in the past years on defense. They needed wide receiver help on the outside, and Bateman's hurt, the rookie they took. Sammy Watkins is not what they had in mind. I'm sorry. He's just not going to be healthy, I don't think, for a long period of time. And even if he is, he's not what they went gunning for as they went out and tried to get Galladay and all those other guys. But they came up short. They really didn't get what they needed out there, I don't think. And do I trust, as Dobbins is hurt now, and so is Justice Hill, their third string running back. So it's the Gus Edwards and Show at running back and Tyson Williams. Can 8 drop back and throw it outside the numbers consistently in the pocket? He hasn't shown me he can yet.
Haven't seen it yet, have we?
No.
I mean, he is an enormous talent.
He is.
To me, it's always, 75% of that talent is from the waist down.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you can't get him controlled, and what he does is he pulls the football down and starts to, I call it ad-libbing things offensively, Brad. Well, you can't. He's going to beat you whether or not he goes 3 for 13 for 30 yards throwing the football. They could still beat you. But to me, though, again, I mean, that's the Lamar Jackson. What makes him tick? Again, if you can defensively, to me, it's all about getting pressure on him up the middle in the A gaps. And make him throw the football 30 times, 35 times. Because go look at it, Brett. When he's throwing 20, 22, 24 times, they're usually winning by 2 touchdowns.
Yep, no question. No question about it. You got to make him throw it. Too often in the past, undisciplined Browns teams, you watch, Garrett on the edge rush or whatever. They run past, around. We're getting into schematics and stuff now, but you've got to just stay in front of him, right? You just got to stay in front of him. It's a different approach completely. But that's where I think owusu-koramoah and John Johnson can be absolutely huge for this defense. Even Ronnie Harrison, in being able to sideline to sideline and keep him hemmed in.
Hey, can you go get into one of Joe Wood's defensive meetings?
I'd like
bring
to.
all that acumen to them. Tell Joe you got a few things to contribute to his defensive unit's meeting room.
I'm sure. I'm sure Joe's got it under control, but I appreciate that. Michael, you're fantastic as always. You will be calling the Akron Zips this weekend?
Yeah, I got Akron this week against Temple, and love calling college football. And I'm hoping for a revival for the Akron Zips, Brad. It's been a couple of tough years. Tom Arth, the John Carroll, former John Carroll, national championship, quarterback from his playing days is. I like Tom a lot. Remember him in high school and called a couple of his playoff games when he was at John Carroll. So I'm hoping, and I think all Zips fans are, that, he's the guy that's going to get this thing ultimately turned around. I will tell you, he had an empty cupboard when he took the job. I think he knew that. And so if this is year 3, and let's see if they start the upturn, shall we say, Brad, and
there you go.
Some of the resurgence with Akron Zips football, because I know the you want to have Akron healthy on the football side. I mean, look at what they've done. They've been the centerpiece of the basketball world in the MAC with Keith Dambrot and now John Gross there. It's still one of the top teams in the MAC on the basketball side. The MAC needs Akron to be strong in the football side as well. And as I said, I'm hoping that the local guy, Tom Arth, can start the process of making that happen.
Yeah, me too. I went to Ohio University, graduated from Kent State, grown up in Cuyahoga Falls, which is right smack in between Kent and Akron. So I've lived with MACtion my whole life. So I love the MAC, and I root for any MAC school to do well. So I'd like to see Akron and Kent do well. But so it'll be good to see you calling the game on Saturday?
Yeah, ESPN Plus. So
okay.
Check it out, and then see if any of this hopefully progression I'm talking about from Tom Arth and his football. They played Auburn in their opener, and that trip down to Auburn was woo baby.
Yeah, that's not fun.
They're playing a Power 5, you could top ranked school, top 25 program, and so getting back home against Temple, another Group of 5 school out of the American Conference who's struggling right now. We'll see. Maybe it'd be a good one to get.
It would be.
Put in a win column, I'll tell you that. It could go a long way to, as I just said, Brad, starting that, because you got to get that ascent going first, right? You got to start turning it upward. And so to me, honestly, after one win in the first 2 years, I'd like to see Tom Arth win 4 football games this year. If Akron could, take the 1-win season and turn it into 4, and I'm just being realistic here.
Yeah.
Being realistic, that would make all Akron fans and everyone feel better that the program is starting to get back toward the ascent of where it needs to be.
Program building from where they were is a tough task, Michael. A tough task.
Yeah, no question about that. And, college football is, I can tell you from, calling college football for 35 years when, I don't mean this despairingly against any coach, but there are times when coaches don't, and I'm talking about the FBS now here, most specifically, when you have a bad recruiting year or two, Brad, that's a killer, man. It's a killer. And it's gonna set your program back 5, 6, 7 years if you have a couple of years when you are substandard in your recruiting class. And unfortunately, 4 or 5 years ago, and they were winning at the time. Remember, they were winning. They were a winning program going to bowl games, but they had a couple of real rough recruiting years. And I mean, I will tell you, they were having guys commit to the program that, I have great respect for every college football player. I don't care what division I have great respect for all of them. I know how tough it is. But when you're a Division I program, Brad, and you're recruiting 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are really D2 players, you know what I'm saying? And then 2 or 3 or 4 of them wind up starters. Well, now, that's going to show up, and it's going to start to tear away at the core of what you're trying to do. So, and that's what happened to Akron. I'm just being frank about it. That's what happened.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and now Tom Murphy knew you come in, your roster's not whole, your recruiting has taken a downturn, and now the problem is what kids today. Well, what do they want? But they want to go to schools that win. Hey, how much you winning, coach? When you go in to see mom and dad and recruit a kid. Wait a minute. Your record was 1-11 last year, coach.
Yep.
That makes it tough, Brad.
Really tough.
It's tough to get the kids that you need to get, because that's where kids are today, man. Again, how good are you? How much do you win? What bowl games am I going to be able to go to? How much am I going to be on TV? Well, okay. Oh, you're 1-11 last year. Yeah, well, I don't know, Coach. I don't know if I can do that. And it may sound simplistic, Brad, but that's the deal that a lot of college coaches face. You're doing
for sure.
NFL coaches don't have to worry about that. I mean,
nope.
Sure, don't get me wrong, drafting is part, but you're drafting guys who are proven college football players, right?
Yeah.
You're taking kids that you're not sure can play at the level you're competing at. That's a tough one, man. That's
a tough road. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Tough living rooms to sit in after 1-11. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think fans. And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for coaches, but I'm just speaking reality to you. When you're doing that as a college football coach in Division I, and you've had some poor years, and you're trying to go into living rooms and recruit top talent to get you turned around, it's not easy now.
No.
Not easy. Because kids want to go where there's success and where there's winning. And I get it. Who doesn't? So there you go. Let's stay in the MAC with your alma mater. So in the last few years, he retired now, and he's so fantastic. I love him. But if Frank Solich is in your living room and telling you he wants you to come to Ohio University and be a Bobcat, right? Well, hey, Coach, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, because they win.
Yep.
And they've won MAC East of going to bowl games.
Yep.
Whereas Kent State got it turned around, Brad. Sean Lewis, phenomenal job. Kent State was, one of the dregs of the MAC in football. Not anymore, baby. Not anymore. Sean Lewis has got that thing going and humming. So, I'm hoping that the same for all football fans in Northeast Ohio, even if you didn't go to Kent State or Akron. I know, like you went, so you're Ohio University. I get that. But, you want to see the teams around here do well.
Yeah,
and,
no
again,
question.
It's good for the kids. It's good for the university. And I know it's going to get if Akron can join Kent State and getting it turned around, think of how good that's going to be for all the high school football players, the outstanding high school talent here in Northeast Ohio, Brad, that can I want to go to Kent State. I want to go to Akron because we're good and we're going to compete for a MAC championship. So that's what you want it to be for our area here in Northeast Ohio.
No question. It's a domino effect for sure. And they're right here those schools are right here in the heartland of really good college or really good high school football. So
no question. Yep.
Michael, you are tremendous as always. I always tell you, you've always been my favorite. Grew up listening to you, and it's a dream and honor to have you on my show all the time. And I enjoy our time so much. This will be an interesting one on Sunday. I appreciate your insight and thoughts on everything. And tell everybody to go listen to the new podcast. Reghi and Rhoda can be found where all popular podcasts are found. I got it on Apple Podcasts. Check it out. It's great stuff. You guys talk everything from Browns to Ohio State to Indians to Cavs. Cover all the main stuff there, right?
We do anything Cleveland most specifically, and then throughout the state of Ohio. Yeah, we're going to be on it, Brad. And listen, I greatly appreciate your kind words. You know, I've always told you you should be try to position yourself to get a job in a front office of an NFL team, buddy. 'Cause you're a good roster composition guy, and I mean that. And so keep it up. Keep rolling. Anytime you want me, you just let me know. And I love joining you and talking Browns football in the NFL. And hell, we even got into some college football and MAC.
Absolutely.
So, greatly enjoyed it, Brad.
Me too. My pleasure, Michael. Thank you so much.
Stay well, man.
All right. And we're back. Tonight is the All Eyes on Cleveland Game Week 1 edition. That was Michael Reghi for an hour plus with a little technical difficulties in between, but we sorted it out. Good stuff. Michael Reghi is the freaking best, man. He is just the absolute best. I mean it, grew up listening to Michael, and he has always been fantastic. I want to thank our patrons of All Eyes on Cleveland. If you enjoy what we are doing and you want to contribute, you can do so for just $3 a month at www.alleyesoncleveland.com or on the link in the description below. If you haven't been to the website, it's glorious. You can leave a voicemail. We'll play it on the show as we did for Nick, but thanks to Robert and Nick for being members of All Eyes on Cleveland. You too can be a member if you like the show, if you're enjoying what we're doing, and you want to support us. We would love that. You can do so for just $3 a month through Patreon, and you get exclusive content as well. As if you would talk to Robert or Nick, they would tell you that I pretty much just, something pops in my head, I just go in and write it and post it. So, throughout the day. So I'm posting nonstop on there. It's a kind of a cool little aspect of it, and we'll thank you on every show and all that stuff too. So the website is outstanding. Even if you're not a member, go check that out. It has all of our shows in audio in any of the podcast platforms, as well as all of our video shows as well. And with that, we're going to get up and out of here. Now, tomorrow night, we will have, it's a 7 o'clock start. I know we were early tonight, but 7 o'clock start tomorrow night. We're having Chiefs Week with Joe Valerio, who is the host of Believe in Chiefs podcast at the Believe Podcast Network. Now, he is an ex-offensive lineman in the NFL for the Chiefs. If you have questions you want to be asked to Joe, feel free to submit them to me on Twitter, and I will ask him, as he is very knowledgeable about what the Chiefs are doing and obviously used to play in the league. He is a fantastic guy, awesome guy. Had him on before the divisional round last year, and we're going to do it again. tomorrow night, 7 p.m. here on All Eyes on in Cleveland. Hit the like button, hit subscribe on your way out. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to Michael Reghi. Good job for Mikey on the ones and twos. Game week, baby. You start getting excited. You seriously start getting excited.
You start getting excited, motherfucker! We gotta go!
That's right.
Sir, all eyes on Cleveland. We here. Yeah.
And with that, thanks to Mikey on the ones and twos. My name is Brad Ward. This has been another edition of All Eyes on Cleveland. We are out.